My name is Gregory Gale, and I am delighted to be here. I noticed that other than Ryan, no one else has their camera on. So either you're at work or we are multitasking. So again, as my colleague said, please feel free to turn on your camera if you'd like. We have a small group. And obviously, if you have questions, we're going to go through the presentation and provide ample opportunities for you to answer questions. So with that said, hopefully you're seeing my PowerPoint. Show of hands. Okay, awesome. Well, welcome. Again, my name is Gregory Gale, and with me today is my colleague, Anthony Noriega. Both of us will actually be providing you with the information about our programs. As you can see, we're going to be using a PowerPoint, but we're also going to be using our website as part of this presentation. So we budgeted around an hour to actually provide you with information. However, if you have more questions than time allotted, we're going to be very happy to actually answer your questions. So with that said, on your screen, it will give you an idea as to what we're planning to cover today. So we're going to be talking about the university, talking about the College of Psychology, talking about the programs that you are interested in. Many of you also are very much interested in learning about the admissions requirements, so we're going to spend some time on that, as well as talking about affordability. You have questions concerning the cost of attendance, so we'll definitely talk about that. And as I said, we're going to be stopping throughout this presentation to see if you have any questions. So again, please feel free to use the chat feature, or if you feel more comfortable, when we stop, you can actually just ask questions. Just unmute yourself and ask questions. So any questions before we start? We're good, no questions? Okay, let's proceed then. So on your screen, you'll notice a picture and a year. So welcome to Nova Southeastern University. We were founded in 1964, and the building that you see on your screen is actually one of the first buildings on our campus. We were actually founded in downtown Fort Lauderdale. We had an incoming class of 15 students. We were started as a graduate institution. So all 15 of those students were enrolled in graduate programs. The building that you see, which is still in existence at our campus, is called the Mailman Hollywood Building. And this building at that time housed the entire university. It had housed our library, our classrooms, our faculty offices, really everything concerning this particular university. And the area that the school was located on, or is located on, was used for, it was basically a flight field where individuals learned how to fly planes. So from then to now, so on your screen, you're seeing sort of the blossoming of this institution. We've gone from one location, which is the Fort Lauderdale Davie campus. We're now the largest private not-for-profit university in the state of Florida. There are over 20,000 individuals who are pursuing bachelor's, master's, specialist, doctoral, and professional programs at the institution. We're home to a high school, as well as an early childhood development center called the Mailman Siegel Center for Human Development. And we're also home to 2 colleges of medicine. So individuals can pursue either a doctorate in allopathic medicine, which is commonly called the MD program, as well as osteopathic medicine, which is a DO program. If you see my mouse, pre-COVID, we actually opened residence halls on our campus for undergraduate students. And then we also are home to a college of law, and a variety of different health profession programs at our institution. So we are a large, comprehensive university. Now, on the sort of northwest section of our campus is the building on your screen. This is the Maxwell Malts building. The reason I'm showing you this is one of two buildings on our campus that accommodates the College of Psychology. This building is 2 stories. It was opened in 1996. And it encompasses really all the sort of graduate programs within the College of Psychology. Faculty offices are here, administrative offices, and we're also we also have 15 specialty mental health clinics that are located in this building. And we think that's very important because, as I mentioned, we are a large research-based university, but we're also a community-based university. And so our clinics actually serve our local community. So we have individuals from our local counties, Broward, Palm Beach, and Miami-Dade, coming in for services. And they meet with our students who, under the supervision of our faculty, actually provide services to students, or to, I should say, the public. As I said, we are a community-based organization, and one of the things I'd like to bring up is our Shark Chats webinars. Now, these webinars we initiated in March of last year, when the entire world was quarantining due to the pandemic. And we thought it was very important for us to provide empirically based information to our community. So our faculty actually were able to create programs or webinars on a variety of mental health topics. And these were free sessions that we offered to our local community. And so you can see some of the topics that were discussed as part of these webinars. On your screen is one of the more popular webinars, and it's called Yappy Hour. And for many individuals, what quarantining meant was being at home with their furry companion. So Yappy Hour was a way to explain sort of that human connection with our furry companions. Now, these sessions are all free. They're generally an hour long. So I encourage you to visit us at nova.edu/Shark Chats. You can register to attend upcoming sessions. And if you'd like, you can also actually watch previous sessions, because all of these sessions were recorded. So one of the hallmarks of any program, any university, is really the faculty. And so what I'd like to do now is actually show you how you can actually search for faculty at our institution, actually within the College of Psychology. So I'm going to pivot from our PowerPoint to our website. So bear with me. So what we're going to do is, hopefully you're seeing my screen. Thumbs up. And so you are, I'll just highlight this. Our website is very easy. It's psychology.nova.edu. When you land on this page, it will provide you a variety of different kinds of information. Some fast facts about our programs, our 15 specialty mental health clinics, access to our undergraduate, master's, our specialist program, as well as our doctoral programs, information about our clinics, and also information about our faculty here. We also have news and events that we want to share with the world. But we're going to go back to the top of the page, and you'll see these 3 lines. These are called these are the hamburger menu, and they actually serve as a navigation for the page. So you'll click on that, and you'll see options that you can utilize. So in this particular example, we're going to go to our faculty and staff page. Now, on this page, there are 3 things I'm going to highlight. The first thing is you can actually search for faculty based on their program or department. So in this example, we're going to go to the Department of Counseling. And when you click on the radio button, when you scroll down, you'll see a list of our faculty within this department. And so in this particular example, we're going to stop by and see Dr. Carly Parrow. You're going to click on Read Profile. And when you go to that page, you'll see her name, her title, a telephone number, email address, her campus location. So we have a campus in Tampa Bay, her CV. So you'll get an example of her academic as well as professional background, her education, her professional goals. And many of our faculty actually are experts in their fields, and they're either nationally or internationally known. Many of them actually present at conferences, write books, etc. So whenever we have those kinds of highlights, we will place them on our faculty website under news and events. So very easy to navigate to this. And again, this is open to everyone, so you don't have to be a student to find this information. Second thing I want to point out is our faculty scholarship area. So we have outstanding faculty within the College of Psychology. And so what we have done is each year we will list some of the activities that our faculty are doing. And so in this particular example, we clicked on the faculty accomplishments for 2022. And when you open this PDF, you'll see the faculty's name, list of the publications. In this example, a person has published in several journals, presentations, and you'll see other scholarly activities, including being a reviewer for different publications, etc. So it's a great way for you to find out about the caliber, the academic caliber of our faculty by seeing all the amazing things that they're doing. The third thing I want you to be able to access is many of you are interested in a particular area, and you'd like to know if we have faculty with that particular expertise. And so what we've done is, using an Excel, we've actually listed our faculty by particular areas. And so in this particular example, we're going to select, say, our counseling area. What we've done is we've listed the name of our faculty, give you the link to the faculty profile, which is what we just saw, the program, and then the area of expertise. So some of you might be interested in multicultural counseling or intimate partner violence or wellness, or trauma, or suicide prevention, or addictions, etc. And so what you can do is, using this Excel file, because these are all sortable, find the individual you would like to contact. And as you can see, we've made it very easy. And you don't need prior approval or our information, our sort of introduction for you to contact the faculty. You can just literally find the expertise, find the name of the faculty, and then contact the faculty directly. So very easy for you to actually get to that area. Again, the template's listed there. So it's on the left-hand side. So you can either look at the faculty scholarship or the faculty subject matter expertise. So very easy to navigate. So we're going to go back to the PowerPoint. So let's talk about the programs that we offer. So we're home to amazing programs. We have 3 doctoral programs in the College of Psychology. We have a clinical psychology PhD program, or a Doctor of Philosophy program, clinical psychology Doctor of Philosophy program, or PsyD, as well as a doctorate in school psychology, doctor of psychology degree. We're incredibly proud of these particular programs for many reasons. These programs, in fact, are accredited by the Commission on Accreditation of the American Psychological Association. And this is very important for anyone who's interested in this field because this accreditation body is really the premier accreditation body for doctoral programs in the United States. So each of our programs has received a 10-year accreditation. In fact, our doctorate in school psychology was reaccredited this year for 10 years. So incredibly. And again, just to explain what this means is this is an outside agency that has looked at our curriculum, looked at our faculty, looked at our students, et cetera, and based on that, given us their accreditation. We're also home to a clinical program called School Psychology Specialist Degree. And you might be asking, what is a specialist degree? Well, a specialist degree is an intermediate degree between a master's degree and a doctorate. And so in this particular example, this degree is 79 credit hours. The school psychologist is really a clinician, a psychologist that will work with families, school administrators, teachers, to make sure that students are able to succeed academically, socially, and behaviorally. And if there's anyone who's interested in this particular area, if you're interested in working with children or kids or anyone in K through 12, please let us know because we'd love to continue the conversation with you. This program is approved by the Florida Department of Education. It's designed to meet the educational requirements of the Florida Department of Education, specializing in school psychology, and it holds designation from NASP, which is the National Association of School Psychologists. So this program does lead to licensure. We're also home to 4 master's degrees. And so we have a master's degree in counseling, in experimental psychology, in forensic psychology, which I know several of you are interested in, as well as general psychology. So this is where we're going to spend the bulk of our time today. So we're going to start off with our counseling program. So we have a Master of Science in Counseling, so that's 1 degree, and then students can choose one of 5 concentrations, and they are our clinical mental health concentration, our school counseling concentration. We have substance abuse, and then we also have substance abuse and education concentration, as well as ABA, applied behavioral analysis. Now, our clinical mental health curriculum consists of 20 courses or 60 credit hours. And this curriculum is offered on the campus I'm located, which is the Fort Lauderdale-Davie campus, in a face-to-face format. It's also located, or it's offered on some of our regional campuses. And then we also offer it in an online format. So students can choose the option that best fits their learning style and their life. The school counseling is offered on the Fort Lauderdale-Davie campus, as well as our regional campuses, in a hybrid format. And what that means is that some of your courses will be in a face-to-face format, and some of your courses will be online. The substance abuse counseling, substance abuse and education, as well as the applied behavioral analysis concentrations, those are offered completely online. And so students would be able to completely finish the degree without needing to come on campus. And so again, it's designed for working adults. We also have a non-degree option for individuals who are trying to meet the ABA requirement for an external, maybe a work-related requirement. Now, another exciting thing that happened this year for us, including having our school psychology program be reaccredited, is that we received accreditation for our clinical mental health concentration. And so CACREP, which is the Council for Accreditation of Counseling and Related Education Programs, awarded accreditation to our clinical mental health concentration for 8 years. So we were just over the moon when we received this news. So as I mentioned, we offer our counseling curriculum not only on the Fort Lauderdale-Davie campus, but also on Miami, Tampa Bay, Orlando, as well as Palm Beach. Now, we offer these programs on these campuses, but we'll have different start times or different semesters in which we offer. So on the Fort Lauderdale-Davie campus, generally, we offer the courses every term, but for our regional campuses, we generally offer them once per year, and it's usually, and it is the fall term. So let's talk more about our counseling program. So our counseling program, as I said, consists of 20 courses or 60 credit hours. And in reaction to the pandemic, and really that our students wanted these sort of flexibility, for our clinical mental health option as well as our school counseling option, we offered the curriculum in a hybrid format. And by hybrid, we mean that the curriculum allows students to take some of the courses in a face-to-face option, and then some of the courses in an online format. And then students can also take 2 courses each term, so 6 credit hours, or they can take 3 courses each term, which is 9 credit hours. Additionally, in our college, we have what's called continual enrollment. And by that, I mean students will take courses each term. So unlike an undergraduate setting where someone would take classes in the fall and then, maybe take the spring off and the summer off and then, continue in the fall, students must take courses each semester while they're enrolled in our college. And we support that because the literature tells us that when students are continually enrolled, they tend to finish quicker. Additionally, it allows us to actually, when certain programs, to have a cohort model. And what that means is that students are starting at the same time. They're taking courses together, which again, the literature tells us that students who are in that format generally finish and have a higher level of satisfaction with their curriculum. And so students can choose, especially in this format, how quickly they'd like to pursue the degree. So you might feel very comfortable taking 2 courses each term. It works with your life and your professional life, but you may be also interested in taking 3 courses each term. And so that determination, you can actually have a conversation with our academic advisor. And if you start with, say, 3 courses your first term, and you realize it's a bit too much for you, then you can go to 2 courses and vice versa. So we think that is really empowering our students to decide how quickly they'd like to go through the curriculum. And again, we're always here to help you because it's in our best interest to make sure that you are going to be successful within our curriculum. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the curriculum, and then we're going to jump to the actual requirements. And so let's do this. So in order to get to, let's just go through the navigation because I want to make sure you can navigate to the information I'm sharing with you. So we're back at the College of Psychology webpage, so psychology.nova.edu. We're going to go to the hamburger menu. We're going to go to academics, we're going to go to master's, and then we're going to do the MS in counseling. So here we are at the MS in counseling webpage. So lots of information. Again, our accreditation information is there. I just mentioned our 5 concentrations, and we'll talk about them shortly, as well as information about earning and how the program is delivered. And we also have our residential institute for clinical mental health for our online option where students will come to our campus for a weekend. So we're going to go back here, and first we're going to go to our curriculum. And so what we want you to see is the actual courses that are part of the Masters of Science in Counseling. So when you go to this page, you'll see we list the 5 concentrations, and we list the credit hours associated with each of these concentrations. And then you'll notice that we have this plus arrow. If you click on that plus arrow, it will provide you with more information about that concentration. So it talks about our curriculum, our accredited curriculum, talks about FAQs concerning KCREP, what it means. It talks about the format, face-to-face, hybrid, as well as online with a residential institute. And then it lists the courses that are part of the curriculum. So if you're interested in knowing what, say, research and evaluation for counselors are, you see it's like 3 credit hours, and we give you information about that. But if you notice that these numbers or these areas are also hyperlinked, what that means is there's more information. So if you click on that, it will take you to our course wizard area. And so you can actually get more information about the particular course, a description there, learning outcomes. And then depending on the time of the year, it will also list where and when the courses are being offered. So this particular course is offered both online as well as on the Fort Lauderdale-Davie campus. And then you can see the list of the faculty who are going to be teaching that particular course. And then again, for winter, the information is listed there. So again, depending on the time of year, that information will be populated on the page. Again, how did we get here? This is in the curriculum section of the webpage. You can actually click on any of these. So if you're interested in substance abuse, for instance, again, it will tell you the number of credit hours associated, how the program is being offered, and then again, the link to our course wizard description. So very easy. And again, open to you. You don't have to be a student to access this information. The other thing I wanted to talk about are the admission requirements. And so when I go through this, it's going to be very similar to the other master's programs that I'm about to talk about. So there will be a little repetition as I go from our counseling program to the other master's programs that we offer. So the first thing you should know is that we welcome students to apply for admission to our program. So for students who are interested in the MS in Counseling curriculum, they must have a minimum of a bachelor's degree. And if you've completed your curriculum outside of the United States, then you must have the equivalent of a bachelor's degree. And how would we know that? We would ask that you submit your transcript to an evaluation agency for them to do a course-by-course evaluation. We do have some individuals who will actually join us after completing some master's or graduate courses, and that's perfectly fine as well. So we're looking for students that have a minimum of a 2.5 out of the 4.0 on the American model. And again, that's just the minimum. Doesn't mean if you have it, you're going to be admissible. It's just for us, we'd like students to have a minimum GPA based on the last 60 hours of the undergraduate or bachelor's degree. And if you're joining us with a master's degree or applying with a master's degree, we want you to have a minimum of a 3.0 or better. So the actual steps are listed as follows. So what you can do is, depending on sort of when you would like to join us, and we, in this particular clinical mental health curriculum, if you're interested in joining us on the Fort Lauderdale Davie campus, you're able to join us in our fall, winter, which is what some schools call their spring, and summer. And we actually allow students to apply up to 1 year ahead of the semester in which they'd like to start. So if you know you'd like to join us in summer of next year, the application is currently open, so you can go ahead and start the process. So you would click on this link and it will take you to our online application. It will take around 30 minutes or so to complete the application. And it's really just you giving us your academic information. At the end of that process, you'll be asked to submit a processing fee of $50. And that really you can do online. And you can use any kind of payment option for that. And then once you've done that, then you're able to submit the documents that we need for review. The first one is a personal statement. And what that means is that you will be answering sort of 5 different sort of questions for the admissions committee. So in no more than 800 words, we would like you in 5 distinct paragraphs to tell us why you're interested in this particular field. So if you're interested in substance abuse, why are you interested in that? How is that going to help you achieve your professional or personal goals? The second one is, how is this interest relevant to your career or personal goals? The third is, tell us about your understanding of graduate work, because an undergraduate curriculum is very different from graduate. And so we want you to tell us about sort of what you think, what is your understanding of sort of the graduate world. Then, because we place a lot of emphasis on being in a multicultural environment, we would like you to talk about a specific example that sort of raised your awareness of and respect for cultural differences. And so we want you, in your own words, tell us about an example where you understood or appreciate cultural differences. And then we also want you to tell us about your ability to be a counselor. And by that, I mean, this is really a licensed profession. And so we want you to tell us how you think you will be as a licensed clinician, a licensed counselor. And so you would, again, tell us that in your own words. The second thing you would be submitting to us would be letters of recommendation. So for many of our students, if they're currently in school, that means they would actually contact their faculty and have them provide the letters of recommendation, which are submitted as part of your application. And so the actual format or process is that within your application, you would initiate 2 emails that would be sent to your recommendors. They will actually get a link in an email, and it allows them to actually start that process by completing sort of an evaluation, as well as submitting their actual letter of recommendation. If there's some distance between where you are now and school, then you also have the ability of having professionals submit letters of recommendation on your behalf. So if you are in a hospital or agency, some sort of clinical setting, you can have supervisors write letters of recommendation on your behalf. And as you can see on the screen, what we're looking for is really fit. Are you going to have the ability to be successful within the graduate counseling program? We would like you to submit transcripts from all the schools that you've attended that are part of your bachelor's and/or master's degree. And I worded it that way because of the following example. If you attended a community college, for instance, and then transferred to a school where you earned your bachelor's degree, even though the courses from the community college are transcripted on your four-year institution transcript, we still require your transcripts from all the schools that are part of either your bachelor's or your master's degree. So the registrar's office at those schools will go ahead and either mail your transcripts to us, or we have the ability, or they will have the ability of emailing, that is sending an electronic version of your transcript to us. If you completed your degree outside the United States in a language other than English, then we would require that you submit proof of English proficiency. And then you would submit this information to us as part of the application by submitting it by or before the deadline date, on or before the deadline date. And I just wanted to explain what the deadline date means. That means all the required documents that I've just mentioned must be submitted on or before the deadline date. So it's not the first day to start the process, it's the last day to submit all the documents. So we get all the documents, they're put in an electronic format, and then they're submitted to our faculty admissions committee. They will actually review it, and then they will make the determination concerning admission to the program. And so students then, once admitted, they then will start getting information about registration. So for us, it's a very straightforward process. On the screen, you can see the electronic option that the registrar office at your school can utilize to send your transcripts to us. So with that said, I'm actually going to stop sharing to see if there are any questions before I move on to our other programs.
Yeah, Greg, we have great questions that came through. Could you explain in the counseling side of the substance abuse, specifically the substance abuse concentration, what, if any, licensure does that lead into?
Sure. So the counseling, Master of Science in Counseling, the concentration in counseling, substance abuse or substance abuse in education, those do not lead to licensure. And so for individuals who are interested in licensure, the option we would strongly recommend is the clinical mental health option, because that does lead to licensure, and it might be a better fit for individuals. However, if licensure is not something you are interested in, by all means, the either option, the substance abuse or substance abuse in education, might be an option. However, as well, and I know my colleague is waiting to suggest this, you can also have the option of having two concentrations. So you can have the clinical mental health as well as substance abuse. So those are sort of conversations we would have with you as you start the process.
Great. And when it comes to the practicum internship side of the curriculum and counseling, does the college assist in placing students? How would that process work for students?
Sure. So yes, we would assist individuals for both academic and legal reasons. We want to make sure that the experiential or the learning that will be taking place adheres to the curriculum. And we also want to be in a safe environment. So as part of the curriculum, we do introduce this to you in the second semester within the curriculum, and we will work with you to help you to determine where to go. But we have been in this field for since the 1970s. So we do have a long history of having places for our students to do their internship. So yes, we would assist students in that process.
Great. Francisco had his hand raised. Francisco, go ahead and ask your question.
Yeah, just a quick question because I have to enter a work meeting in a moment. I will have to leave the session. So then you were saying that the substance abuse counseling concentration does not award a licensure. So my question would be, what can you do with a substance abuse counseling master's? What can you actually do? What are your limits?
Oh, sure. So many of the individuals do work. They have the ability of actually getting certificate, and I'm not saying the right.
No, you're correct, Greg. It's a certification with the National Certification Commission for Addiction Professionals. It's the NADAC, and NAADAC. So that's where an area such as substance abuse counseling will allow students to partake in, is to essentially become certified addiction counselors. So that's where a lot of the students that partake in the concentration will go into. But also, as Greg mentioned earlier, to allow for other experiences and other opportunities, students would take the dual concentration. In this case, perhaps pursue also the clinical mental health counseling concentration, so they can obtain license as a licensed mental health counselor as well.
We have students that will really visit us from different parts. It's an online curriculum, so it really depends on what their final destination is. So for some students, they do want that license, the licensure experience, and so the dual option is what they'll pursue. But for others, having that credential to work in a substance abuse facility is all they are interested in. So
I guess the rest of my questions I will directly maybe through email to Anthony now that we have opened that door, so that won't take any more time. But thank you for the answer.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Francisco.
Other questions?
Yes, Greg. We have a few more good ones. As I mentioned, going back to the CACREP accreditation, what does that mean? What does that mean for a student interested in clinical mental health counseling?
Well, let's do this. I'm going to share my screen and we'll go back to what it actually means. It's for us, it means really a lot of good things. Primarily, it means that it is really the stamp of approval for this agency, this accreditation agency, to say that what we're doing meets national standards. And so essentially, it is a way for this outside agency to look at the curriculum, look at where students are going, and then look at what we call the KPI assignments to make sure that students have a strong and complete understanding of what it is to be a counselor. Additionally, there is a movement in this country to make sure that counselors have this requirement, this sort of accreditation. And so there are several states that mandate that in order for you to practice in their state, you must have this graduate from a CACREP accredited curriculum, and the federal government also looks at that in terms of making sure that individuals have this before they are hired to be counselors. So my hope is that you'll, I'm sorry, I think I have a frog in my throat, that you'll understand this is really a big deal to make sure that the experience that you have here is recognized within the community, recognized within the industry as having really all the knowledge that you need to be a very successful counselor. So in a nutshell, that's how I would say what it means. My hope is that I've answered your question. If not, please let me know.
Sure. And we also shared the KCREP FAQ
Yes.
link in the chat. There we have a section on prospective students to elaborate what Greg just shared, but also give more information as what it means. And so please visit that website. Greg, the next question is regards to for online students, clinical mental health counseling, could the possibility of taking more than 3 classes per term, is that possible for an online student?
So that's a question we frequently get asked. What we want to do is our curriculum is designed for students to be successful. And so the real options that we offer students is to take 2 courses each term or 3 courses each term. Because for us, a graduate experience is not the same as an undergraduate experience. So it's not unheard of if you're an undergraduate student to take 5, 6, sometimes 7 courses each term. For students to go over 3 courses each term, it's going to be very challenging. So I'll give you some examples. The amount of time that it will take in graduate school in terms of preparing for that time, 3 hours in the week, is going to be more hours sometimes than you would have in an undergraduate setting. Additionally, in graduate school, a B is passing. So unlike undergraduate, where you could get a C and sometimes in some cases a C minus and it would be considered passing, in graduate school, a B is passing. And in order to graduate from our curriculum, you must have a B or better or 3.0 or better. And so what we don't want is actually to provide options for students where they're not going to be successful as they go through the curriculum. So when all of our students join us during our orientation and during the first term, they'll meet with the academic advisor, and the advisor will help you to determine the courses you're going to take and the speed in which you'd like to complete those courses. Because our interest is, and yours is, to make sure that you successfully complete the curriculum. So that's sort of my strong recommendation to you if you'd like to take more than 3 courses each term.
Great. Just a couple more questions and we can get to our forensic psychology, because I know we have people waiting for that. Could you recommend any specific credential evaluators, Greg, for those transcripts that need to be evaluated?
Sure. So the evaluators must be members of NACES. That's NACES. And I think it's naces.org. So they must be a member of the National Association of Credential Evaluation Services. So on our website, we actually provide you with that link.
Great. And do we know when fall 2022 decisions are going to start coming out? I'm assuming that's for counseling, Gabriella, if you can confirm that. Hi, Gabriella.
Sorry, it's for the clinical psychology.
So the doctorate in clinical psychology?
So it's PsyD.
Oh, so okay.
Sure. So if I understand your question correctly, are you asking when decisions will be made for that particular curriculum or that particular program?
Yes. So I applied like a few months ago. Okay. So I just wanted to know, it just says submitted as my status. So I just want to know more or less when the decisions are going to come out.
Sure. So I'll give you sort of the quick answer to that. That process entails both the submission of the documents as well as inviting students to participate in an interview using Zoom this year. And so the next step, we have just decided on the dates for our interview days. And so our faculty are still reviewing applications. So our first interview day is going to be December the 9th, I believe. And then we have 3 more dates, one in January and 2 in February. So we are still reviewing applications. And so once our deadline date for our first interview days, November the 1st, that's when we'll start making decisions concerning inviting individuals to participate in the interview day.
Understood. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Okay, back to you, Vic.
All right, thank you so much. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back to our PowerPoint, and I want to make sure that, again, we answer all your questions. So if we generally budget an hour for this presentation, however, if we haven't answered your question, please stick around and we'll make sure we do. So again, to conclude concerning our Masters of Science in Counseling deadline dates, they're listed on this page. And again, that means that all the required documents must be submitted on or before these dates. So we're going to transition now to forensic psychology. And I know several of you are interested in this field. This is another fantastic program that we offer within the College of Psychology. Now, forensic psychology is an online curriculum consisting of 36 credit hours or 12 courses. And students can choose one of two options. One, as you can see on the screen, is forensic psychology in the legal system. And then the other option is forensic psychology for mental health, first responders, and disaster teams. So the program was started back in August 2022, which we're celebrating 10 years, almost 10 years of offering this program. And the curriculum itself is the nexus between psychology and law enforcement or legal issues, which tells you sort of the kinds of individuals who are interested in this curriculum. We get individuals who are lawyers, individuals who work in the court system, law enforcement officers, individuals who sometimes work in healthcare. They're interested in, assisting or learning more about psychology and mental health. We have really 2 groups of individuals. Individuals are coming directly from an undergraduate curriculum and wanting this online experience. And then individuals who are in a particular field and they are using this to either increase their knowledge about the area or they're going to be transitioning into this particular area. Again, it's an online format and it's a non-clinical curriculum. And by that, what it means is that it does not lead to licensure. And so students, again, who are interested in this field are very much interested in looking at how, again, the law interacts with psychology, or another way of saying is how psychology interacts with the legal system. And so the online format is really geared towards our students' ability to continue their lives, and the curriculum is offered in an asynchronous format. And that's just a big way or big term of saying you're not meeting at the same time every week to go through the curriculum. So we use a system called Canvas, where our faculty will actually place academic information, including transcript, etc. And then students will go there and provide or complete the academic requirements to complete the curriculum. So we're gonna go to the actual web page now, because this is, as I said, really a fantastic program for anyone to pursue. So you go to our page, and again, we use the hamburger menu navigation to get to our forensic psychology page. It talks about the format, our start times, and why individuals would choose us. Talks about salary information, and then it also talks about some of our faculty. So one of the things I want to highlight, one of the two things I want to highlight include the curriculum. So as I mentioned, it consists of 36 credit hours or 12 courses that students would take. We list the core courses here. And by that, I mean all students will be taking these courses. We have one of our professors talking about one of the courses that you would take. And then you can choose the option, the specialization that you'd like to pursue. So we have a large number of individuals coming from the first responder area. And so for them, this is really a way for them to learn more about the particular industry. Again, just like what we did in counseling, you can click on the number here, and it will take you to our course wizard, and it will tell you more information or give you more information on the particular course. So you can look to see the faculty, the location, and the date for this particular curriculum. Now, the other thing I want you to be aware of is really the program faculty. Again, when I start off the presentation, I talked about the faculty being sort of the hallmark of the program. And by that, I mean they're the ones that really create the curriculum and make it and enrich it so that it is beneficial for our students. So in this particular area, I wanted to highlight a few of the faculty. Now, one of them you'll see the name is Judge Ginger Lerner Wren. Now, Judge Wren is a sitting judge in Broward County. And she started the first mental health court in the United States. And she did that in Broward County. And so she's part of our faculty here. And what she does is that she practices therapeutic justice. And by that, I mean that when someone is arrested and the mental condition is part, or it could explain part of the process, when that person appears in her court, because she has a background in psychology as well as in law, her sort of decision is going to be based not only on making sure that the law is respected, but also that the individual gets the treatment he or she needs. And so you're getting a practitioner who's actually providing you with the curriculum. The other person I always want to highlight includes Abigail Tucker. Abigail is a PsyD, a doctorate in psychology, and she is located in the Colorado area in Denver. And what she did is in many jurisdictions, in order to administer treatment options for individuals, you first have to arrest them. And that's not really the greatest way to actually help someone. And so she and others were able to get the law changed in Colorado so that individuals could get the treatment that they needed without having to interact with the law enforcement system. So again, you're getting the really what I'm trying to do is explain how these amazing individuals, these practitioners, are actually teaching and informing you as part of the curriculum. And that makes, I think, sort of several of the wonderful benefits for individuals who choose this particular option. Now, in terms of the admission requirements, It's going to be very similar to what we just talked about in terms of the counseling program. So this program welcomes students for every term, so fall, winter, which is what some schools call our spring, as well as the summer term. Students would start the process by completing our online application, pay the processing fee, submit their statement of goals, which is, again, why you are interested in this particular area, 2 letters of recommendation, transcripts from the schools you've attended. And again, if you completed your degree outside the United States in a country where the first language or your language of instruction was not English, then you would provide proof of English proficiency. In terms of the deadline dates, you'll see that the deadline dates for our master's programs are the same. So students can join us in the fall, in the winter, as well as in the summer. So for anyone who's interested in January, as you can see, the deadline date is December the 1st. So we're gonna go back to our PowerPoint. And what I'd like to do is to move on to our general psychology area. So like the forensic psychology area, our general psychology curriculum is completely online. This curriculum consists of 30 credit hours, or another way to look at it is 10 courses. And you can see on the screen, it consists of core courses, which is what everyone would complete. And then students can choose either the general psychology track or the applied health science track. So this particular curriculum really is attractive to 2 groups of individuals. One group coming directly from an undergraduate program is very much interested in pursuing a doctoral program in psychology, and they may not have had either a background in psychology or a strong background in psychology. And so this particular curriculum gives them the avenue they need in order to be competitive when they apply to a doctoral program in psychology. The other group of individuals are individuals in another field, and they have always had a love for psychology. So they may be in the business area, they may be in the marketing or healthcare, and they plan to stay in that area, but they'd like to have some foundation in psychology. And this is where this curriculum will play a wonderful role. So it offers foundation courses that provide individuals with the expertise in areas of psychology. And it also, as I mentioned, provide the prerequisite course requirements for individuals who are considering advanced doctoral programs in psychology. In terms of the curriculum, we're going to go back to, again, the hamburger menu, academics, masters, general psychology. Again, very similar to the other programs that we saw. We're going to go to the curriculum here, and this should look familiar. The core courses with the ability to find out more about the curriculum. And then the 2 options, including the applied health science track. In terms of the admission requirements, again, very similar to what we just discussed. Again, we welcome students 3 times per year, the fall, the winter, the summer. The completion of the application, the processing fee, the professional goals, the academic and professional letters of recommendation, transcripts, etc. And so again, the deadline date would be the same as with the forensic and the counseling program. So with that said, we're going to go back to the PowerPoint. And then what I'm going to do is, in the interest of time, I'm going to continue to our talking about sort of the cost of attendance. Then we're going to stop to see if there are questions. So the takeaway from this part of the presentation is that we have a group of individuals at our institution who are here to help you in terms of getting information about the cost of attendance. Everything that I'm about to tell you is actually located on the Office of Student Financial Assistance website. And their website is listed on the slide, which is nova.edu/financial aid. Now, when you go to that site, there's a lot of information for you. We're going to highlight, as part of this presentation, scholarships, student employment, veterans benefits, loans, as well as payment plan. So you have the ability to actually search for scholarships at our institution. So when you go to that page, and you can also find out information at the College of Psychology page, you can actually search for scholarships. So if you know the name of the scholarship, you can actually go there. If you know the level, if it's a graduate level, obviously, you can also search by college. And then the other area that you can go to is, again, hamburger menu. You can go to admissions and then scholarships. And then the College of Psychology actually will list the scholarships that are housed within the College of Psychology. So we list general scholarships. We list for the clinical psychology scholarships, as well as our counseling scholarships. And if you'll notice, again, we have these plus arrows or plus icons. You can click on it, and it will provide you with information about the actual scholarship. So one thing, though, I will tell you is that these scholarships are called graduate institutional scholarships. And again, what that means is they're housed at the university. The other thing you should also be aware of is that our scholarships are not tied to the admissions process. And that's another way of saying is that we don't have scholarships based on someone's GPA when they enter our institution. So these scholarships are for current students. And so students would have to be here at least one semester, and then they will be eligible to apply for these scholarships. However, we also offer what's called external scholarships, and these scholarships are housed outside of the university, and it allows students to actually apply for these scholarships. And the Office of Student Financial Assistance will be able to provide you with more information about these scholarships. They also have a group of individuals there to talk to you about the loan process. And so they want to make sure, among other things, that you're not, if you're using loans to finance your education, that you're not taking more loans than are actually needed. That's very important for us. And so we want to sort of provide you with guidance through that process. We also have what's called a debt squad. And they can, again, provide you with information about loans. But for some students, they want to pursue degrees in which these loans can be converted into grants. And so the debt squad, which is what they call themselves, they're the ones who can actually answer those kinds of questions for you. If we have any veterans in the room, welcome, and thank you for your service. We also have individuals who are there to assist our veterans and individuals with a military experience in terms of acclimating to our program. So they're there to help make sure that you're taking the right courses, in terms of the speed, and that if you need any assistance, that we can provide that. We are a military-friendly institution. We have an area called Military Affairs, and we also have sort of Veterans Resource Center, and they're there to help our students sort of, again, acclimate to life outside of the classroom. We also hire students. So graduate students are able to work on campus as graduate assistants, graduate teaching assistants, graduate research assistants. They're also able to work on campus as work studies, and we actually hire graduate students in our office in those capacities. So we have students who are actually work studies helping us. And they can provide administrative or support roles within all the units. And for these kinds of positions, what will happen is students will go to a portal, a website on our campus, and then they will search for jobs and then apply for those jobs and work. The benefit for working on campus is that we know you're a student first, and then you're an employee. And so it allows students to be able to be in the same environment as they go through their academic experience here. If there is a gap between the cost of attendance and what you're able to afford, then the university through the bursar's office does have a payment plan. And so you can work with them to come up with payment options for you. For most students, the process starts with them completing the FAFSA form, which is the free application for federal student aid. And this is the same form students would use as an undergraduate student. So one question we get asked is, when do you start this process? And it's really when you are planning to start the application process. So for individuals who are planning to join us in winter, for instance, you should complete the process right now. For students who are going to be starting in summer, the same thing, and the fall, you can actually start that process in January. So again, those kind of questions, our Office of Student Financial Assistance will be here to assist you with that process. So with that said, I'm going to stop sharing and to see if there are any questions that were asked or they would like us to comment on.
Sure, there was this needed some clarification on the personal statements, Greg.
Okay.
Is the personal statement for forensic different from the personal statement for counseling?
So great question. What we're going to do is we're going to go back to that website and you will be able to see that. So the gist of the personal statement really is for the department to determine why you're interested in that particular area. And so the personal statement for forensic is listed here. So no more than 500 words explain your interest in forensic and how it actually would achieve your academic, personal, or professional goals. And so the admissions committee is looking to make sure that you have a good grasp of what it is to be in a graduate program in forensic psychology. And they're also looking to look at your writing style, whether you have a clear thought pattern. So one thing I would strongly encourage everyone is to work with an editor. So when you write your statements, to have someone else review it and provide you with sort of critical review before you submit it, because that is what the faculty will be looking at when they make their determination concerning admissibility. So.
Those were all the questions from the chat. So I'm sorry. No, there's not. So sorry. So once again, Greg, you may need to go back to the curriculum on this for forensic psychology. Does it include the completion of a thesis?
So let me want to make sure that that's an option. It's not really a requirement. So for some students, they may choose not to complete the thesis. So my hope is that I'm answering that question. If not, let me know.
Of course. now I think I've gotten all the questions from the chat. So
if I could,
Yes,
I'm so
please.
sorry. I just was, I found it. If you can, hopefully you're not seeing my beach pictures.
Not this time.
Not this time. Okay. So students can either choose to complete a thesis or field experience for their capstone content. So it's really up to you to decide what you'd like to do.
Great.
Alrighty.
If are there any other questions, please feel free to unmute yourself.
I have a question.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, okay. I just want to make sure that I'm on the right track. I'm a little confused. Okay. So I got my bachelor's degree. So I finished that, and I want to do forensic psychology. But now, do I need to do a master's degree and then move on to a PsyD, or?
Sure.
Or do I just go straight there to PsyD after my bachelor's?
Sure. So you have two options. You can join us if your intention is to go into the PsyD program. You can join us with your bachelor's degree. But you can also join us by after completing the master's degree in forensic psychology. So it's really up to you. Why would you choose one versus the other? For some students, they may believe that having a master's degree will give them that competitive edge, and in some cases it does. But for other students, they feel very comfortable with their undergraduate degree, especially if it's in psychology, and so they'll apply for admissions with their bachelor's degree. Did I answer your question, Gabriella?
Oh, yeah. So it's okay that I got my bachelor's in psychology, and then I just applied for PsyD for like forensic psychology.
That is correct.
Okay.
That is correct. Yes.
Okay. It's not like I'm missing a step. I just want to make sure I'm not missing anything.
No, and that's a great question. So at some, especially public institutions, in order for you to go into the doctoral program, you must have a master's. But in our case, you can join us with a bachelor's degree or a master's degree.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, we have a few hand raises. Greg, Francisco, go ahead. You were first.
Yes, following up with my first question, I think you mentioned something about when you first mentioned that the substance abuse counseling didn't give licensure, but the licensed mental health counselor obviously gives you licensure, but you suggested a combination of doing both masters. Is that something that can actually happen at the same time? And if it can happen at the same time, is it because there's a combination of courses that are common with each master's? And as well, the other part of my question is, how long would it take to complete this combination of masters on average?
Sure. Great questions, Francisco. So again, the degree is a Master of Science in Counseling. So you, regardless of the concentration, the degree would be a Master of Science in Counseling. So yes, there would be similar courses that students would take. The concentrations obviously are different because of the area. In terms of how long it would take, that would depend on the number of courses you took each term. So the clinical mental health option consists of 20 courses or 60 credit hours. So what you would be doing is adding the substance abuse courses on top of that. So in terms of the length of time, again, it would depend whether or not you're taking 2 courses each term or 3 courses each term.
If I were to take 3 courses each term, which I think what you were saying was the max recommended to not, to be able to be fine, or was it 2? I don't remember that. How long would it take
Sure. So
on average?
on average, this is being recorded, so I don't want to go online. But generally, it would probably take you, and I'm looking at my colleague here, that would probably take you what 3.5 to 4 years?
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought it would be. Because of the, on average, I was checking, but I just wanted to confirm. I don't want you to, say anything, out of what you're allowed to say. So don't worry about it. I just confirm because it's obviously going to be way longer if I can find two of the masters. So thank you very much for that orientation.
You're welcome. And again, it depends on your destination. For some individuals, having the concentration in substance abuse satisfies their goal. And so licensure is not part of their plan, but if it is part of yours, then that is the option that we have for you.
Well, substance abuse counseling is the one I'm interested in, and I would be practicing here in Florida. Okay. So that's what I wanted to know, so I can get better orientation as to what I can actually do with that master's here in Florida, or if I have anything additional.
Perfect. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you for that question.
Our next question, Ms. Brown.
Hello, good afternoon.
Hi. You look very familiar.
Really?
Yes. I think I've seen your picture before.
Oh, you know what? I think I was on another orientation. This was about clinical psych.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so just to kind of piggyback off the question that the young lady asked, I guess I'm kind of in that position. I have my bachelor's in psychology. My goal, I would like to have the PsyD in clinical psych. But I do see definitely the benefits of having a master's in clinical mental health counseling. But I know that it's not really a continuation. So I'm just not sure if it's best for me to go the route with the master's, because I know you said some career fields, it's better if you have a candidate that has the master's degree already versus someone with still their undergrad. I just don't want to waste time, because I know the clinical psych program is a 5-year program, and it's pretty intense, which that is fine with me. It's just that my life right now is a bit complicated. Full-time job, I've got teenagers, so I'm trying to figure out the best way to work it so that I can achieve my goals. So, I mean, it's a win-win either way. I just want to know, does it look better if a candidate has that master's?
Well, thank you so much. So one of the questions my colleague and I would actually ask is, what is your destination? Because we do that because there's more than one way to actually achieve your goal. And so it depends on what you want to do. If your goal is to, for instance, open a practice where you meet with individuals and you're able to provide counseling services to them, having a doctoral degree is not necessary. That you're able to perform all the sort of functions that you need in order to help individuals. For other individuals, they want to teach, they want to do research, and that's where the clinical psychology curriculum plays a role. There are other individuals who want to work with K through 12 individuals, high school kids, or individuals who are in elementary school, etc. And then we also have other options for them. We have that specialist degree in school psychology, as well as the doctoral program in school psychology. So it really depends on what you would like to do, because again, there's more than one way to achieve your goal.
Right. Okay. Well, definitely I want to be clinical. I currently work at the VA. I am a veteran, and I am contemplating whether I would like to stay in the VA system to continue to help my fellow veterans, or to work out in the community. I did not think about teaching. I'm more focused on the helping directly with patients. I did do an internship at the retreat, and it was interesting, and I learned a lot from that aspect. So basically, okay. So I don't necessarily need the doctorate for what I want to do.
That is correct. So you can work with veterans with the MS counseling, mental health counseling concentration. That because it is a KCREP accredited curriculum, you would have the ability to work at the VA system, work for yourself, to start your own practice, to do what you want to do with that particular tract. So now, the other thing I would like to mention is for individuals who complete the counseling program, that is not geared towards you going into the clinical psychology doctoral program. Okay. The next avenue for you would be a doctorate in counseling education, or counseling and supervision, etc. And again, that may or not provide you with any additional sort of not structure or emphasis for you to perform what you're trying to do. So again, we can talk more offline if you feel more comfortable doing that. But again, if your intent is to help veterans, that option might not, the clinical mental health option might be good. The other option, just to let you know, I talked about counseling PhD. There is also what's called family therapy PhD, and that you can, after completing your counseling master's degree, that also allows you, if you're interested in a PhD, a doctorate, a practitioner's degree, that PhD, professional, sort of a master's of a doctorate in family therapy, that can also may satisfy what you're looking for. So again, what I'm saying is there are other options for you.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
And I would also like to to highlight that we also do have doctoral info sessions as well. So like next week we have a very similar.
I think that's where we met.
Probably. So we have a doctoral info session next week, because we are getting questions more about PsyD and which is great, which is we enjoy them very much. But just to let everyone know, we do have doctoral information sessions as well. And so the next question is in regards to forensic psychology. If an individual is looking to pursue a PsyD, Greg, within the field of forensic psychology, would the recommendation be to pursue the PsyD in clinical, or is there a separate PsyD specifically in forensic psychology?
So the curriculum has a concentration, that is the clinical psychology doctorate, the Doctor of Psychology program has a concentration in forensic psychology. So you would not have to have a separate doctoral degree in forensic psychology. You would pursue the doctorate in clinical psychology with a concentration in forensic psychology.
Correct. Daniela, you have your hand raised, please.
Yes, sir. Thank you. So I hope my question makes sense because I'm not really good with words sometimes. So since I see that the forensic psychology is 100% online, how would a student go about completing a thesis when, in my understanding, it was usually one-on-one with a professor, a thesis committee, etc.? So how would that kind of come about?
That's wonderful that you're asking that question. So you meet with your professor either using this format, Zoom, or you have phone conversations, or you have email interactions. So it's not a barrier for you to complete the curriculum in terms of you don't have to physically be in the same room with the individual. So it's what we do every single term. So
okay, and then I guess the second part to that, I know you said that you recommended about a 3-course. How would that look with the thesis included? Is that an additional year, or can you do that sort of at the same time with those 3 courses?
I'm so sorry. Do you mind repeating the question? You said the 3 courses. So with the forensic, I just want to make sure you have the option of doing the thesis, or you can do a field experience.
Yes, sir. So if one were to choose a thesis, I know you said you recommended about 3 courses a semester. Would one add the thesis onto that course load, or add a separate semester for a thesis?
Oh, it's generally at the end.
Okay.
Yeah.
Understood.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, again, our curriculum is not designed to be more challenging than it needs to. So we created so the courses are sequenced. So we have foundation courses, then intermediate courses, and then either a thesis on the for some programs, or not to scare people, but on the doctoral side, there are comprehensive exams. So everything is sequenced to make sure that you have the skills you need in order to be successful as you go through the curriculum.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All righty then. Craig, I'll turn it back to you.
All righty. Well, thank you so much, everyone. Again, as I mentioned at the beginning of our presentation, we're here to help you. So I am so glad that you are asking these questions. Please feel free, if you have more questions or you feel more comfortable being in a one-on-one setting, reach out to us. We can have Zoom sessions with you, or we can have sessions with you over the phone to try to answer your question. The presentation was designed to also teach you how to use our website. As you can see, we have lots of information on the website for you to actually review. So with that said, thank you so much for joining us. I hope we answered your questions.